What's up, everybody? It's WrestleZone. If you are listening or watching to this podcast, if you're taking it in live, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and share the link. If you do that, you'll really help us out, and you'll spread the love of all things wrestling. Now, let's get right into it. We'll have a lot to discuss. The new WWE champion is bumping up WWE numbers. We're talking about, The Miz. Yes, indeed. It is WrestleZone. How are you doing? We are joined once again by our comedy friend, Prateek Srivastava. Did I say it once? Did I say it right for once, Prateek? Did I say your name correctly at all?
You've been pretty good for your average on the WrestleZone. I've been here a couple times. You've been pretty good, Kevin. So big ups to you. Thank you.
You can follow him on the Twitter at the Daily Prateek. Definitely give him a follow. The brand new comedy album, which I've been told by more and more people they're really enjoying. Nick and Sheila's Kid. You can get it on all your different streaming.
He
platforms.
hasn't listened to it, but he's saying he's heard. I love that. At least you're honest, because on talk shows they'll be like, "Hey, I heard you have a new book out," but you haven't read it. Whereas you were like, "I've heard through sources out there that it's."
Here's the thing: I heard the album before it was made into an album. I heard the tunes. I know the tunes. I've been making the towns with
the liner notes.
I know the liner notes. I know the notes. I know what's up. Definitely go check it out. We are slowly transitioning back into a normal world with live events. I have some comedy shows. I'll be mentioning those coming up. You're doing some things on Zoom that we can talk about within the show, but we have wrestling to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
If you're with us for the first time, go ahead and give us your thoughts on everything going on in the world of WWE. We are just about a little over 6 weeks away, just about 6 weeks away from WrestleMania. A very awkward WrestleMania. Another day where we're waiting for WrestleMania tickets to go on sale, and they are not on sale just yet. But we have new WWE champion. You saw him in our graphic opener there, The Miz. Now, he certainly was in some convoluted booking in the eyes of many fans this week on Monday Night Raw, following his shocking Money in the Bank cash-in this past Sunday. He is the new WWE champion, and he has bumped up WWE ratings, at least in the eyes of some people, and the big fallout from the Elimination Chamber may have helped with that. WWE RAW viewership is up. Showbuzz Daily reporting Raw viewership up and overnight ratings at 1.889 million, nearly 1.9, which is up from last week's 1.8. Not a huge increase, but a steady hold on where they are. It came in at number 1, 2, and 3 for the first, second, and third hours, respectively, on basic cable. That's a strong number. So a lot of people say, "Oh, well, 10 years ago, you were doing this number," but this is ratings now. This is television now.
Exactly.
In the modern landscape, guys. The reason we bring that up is because Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, all these different things. That's why they're figuring out this deal with Peacock. But in the game of overnight ratings, it did pretty well, nearly cracking 2 million in the first hour. First hour is 1.9. Second hour is 1.9. The 10 p.m. hour. The third hour show dropped down to 1.7. So there was a little bit of a drop off there in that third hour. 3-hour show, sometimes too long for some people. But what do you feel? What's your feeling on The Miz here as the champion, the direction coming out of Chamber? I thought they did a lot of different things, went through a lot of different zigzagging to get to, an ABC storyline on Monday.
Were they Dolph Ziggling? They were zigzagging.
Yeah, yes, they were zigzagging. What do you think of Miz as the champion? What do you think of the direction here coming on Monday at Raw?
I think, here's the first thing is you had to take the belt off Drew in some manner because he needs a win in front of real fans. I think that if this is leading to some sort of Drew getting the belt at Mania in front of fans in the stadium that he was supposed to win last year, same stadium as last year, I think this is a good direction. And I think it's a social media feel good. It's a swerve. No one was expecting Miz. People were thinking Miz was going to fail. They thought he would try to cash in and fail. So for him to win in that matter. I definitely wasn't seeing it coming that it was going to be Lashley coming in randomly. Like that kind of was out of nowhere. So that was a nice little surprise. And then you had Miz winning. But now here's the thing. How do they keep, Drew and Miz away from each other until closer to Mania? So I kind of like this Braun Strowman coming out of nowhere, being like, where's my title shot? And then you have Lashley coming in. So, this was a good way to kind of spread things out because we still have one pay-per-view to go before Mania. That's the other thing. We still have Fastlane.
We have Fastlane, which will be on March 18th. Interesting thing with Fastlane, I've heard mixed signals about that. Fastlane was supposed to be the first WWE show on the Peacock streaming service, the WWE Network in the United States, moving over there. For fans internationally, you'll get the WWE Network as you normally would prior. And this would be on March 21st. That migration would be on for subscribers in the United States on the 18th. Now we're hearing mixed things. I've heard this from some fans. I'm trying to find official word on this. WWE does have a frequently asked questions page about this, and they're adding more things to it because it seems like it's something where this would all be rolled out. You'd be like, all right, you're a subscriber. We just move your information over there. And
you have to.
I mean, that isn't easy to do. I mean, the logistics of that with credit cards and, all these different things, it's not easy to do. I've heard mixed things. Today I caught on Busted Open. They were saying that there's a possibility the event will stream on both, that you'll get it on that there'll be this grace period between the network, going away and Peacock. I'm okay with that. I think it's fine if you do that for a few weeks.
It's fine. I think if that helps them, if it helps with the transition, then fine. I mean, there's still so many questions. Like, so for example, we have Xfinity at home and we get Peacock through Xfinity, but is WWE going to be in that? Or is it going to be like The Office where they have an extra tier for WWE? Like that?
No. So I get this. I get asked about this pretty frequently. I know we're diverging here a little bit, but I don't mind doing it, especially as we're getting closer to WWE making this change here with Peacock.
Yeah.
So here is the issue. WWE Network is just going to become a part of Peacock in the United States. There's 3 different tiers to Peacock. That is the part that I think most people have an issue with. Yeah. There's a free tier, which is ad supported. And you get plenty of different things on that. But they keep the binging. The on-demand binge is still behind a certain pay window with a lot of different shows.
Exactly.
But they have that really for live news. You have live news. You have some live sports on there. And then there's a entry tier that is $5 that is still ad-supported. WWE Network will be on that tier. And then finally, they have a Premium Plus, they call it, which is ad-free, and that's $10, which is the same price as WWE Network. But as I mentioned to people, you're getting everything WWE. You're getting everything you would get on the network already. You're also getting the live feeds. You're going to get the live feed on the pay-per-views. Then you get everything that's already on Peacock, which is every episode of SNL, every episode of The Office, Premier League Soccer from
AP Bio. That's a good show, too.
Dude, AP Bio is an incredible show. They did a great wrestling episode.
They did.
This past season. They did a great wrestling episode with Ron Funches, who's a janitor by day, but a pro wrestler by night. And it's a very, very, very funny show. Ron Funch is an incredible comedian. I've gotten interviewed.
And a big wrestling fan, too.
And a huge wrestling fan.
He had something with Ric Flair for one of his specials, which is...
Yeah, and definitely check out his podcast, Getting High Watching Wrestling. So
there you go.
Check out his stuff. So back to the topic at hand, Miz as champion. They went through some really convoluted stuff to get the title on him. Though I think it's worked. It got people talking.
People are talking, and I think that ratings bump came from that.
Let me put this into perspective for people that are really mad about it. I'm not saying I support it, but I'm looking at the logic of this. There's a lot of TV before you get to WrestleMania. And there's a lot of things you have to go through. And I don't know how interested you would be with WrestleMania, which is April 10th and 11th.
It's a long
by the first week of April, if Drew McIntyre was still the champion, and it was just him and a guy cutting promos, him and a guy cutting promos, him and a guy cutting promos. I'm not saying they can't tell an interesting story, do any of those things, but I don't think you consume those stories the same way. I think this is just, as you saw on Raw, it felt like they were even doing a complication on top of a complication. The Miz is the ultimate complication. Is he a transitional champion? He says he's not. We talked about that.
I saw that tweet today. He's going.
He says he's not, but I can tell you, I feel he is. And I feel he's absolutely a transitional champion. And he gets his roses in that regard. He's a company man. I don't think you'll see him wrestle in another major company besides WWE. He's that loyal
not
to
at
them.
all. I don't see that happening.
And this is him getting, as they say, getting his roses now. But it's still a transitional rose. It's not a rose. It's gonna stay fresh for a long time. Bobby Lashley versus The Miz next week on TV. It would be an interesting thing for WWE when they have to keep things hot on Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania. A new TV deal. They want to make NBC happy. Big title change on TV. They did it with Drew and Randy Orton earlier this year. Now, maybe Raw is the super most inconsistent brand that WWE has. We had the Gauntlet last week, which I thought was great. This week's show, I thought was just too much they were trying to do that just didn't click. You know, I'm not saying it was awful, but I'm just saying it just didn't click the best way they could.
You're not a fan of Shane McMahon and Adam Pearce like being like, I'm the authority person. No, I'm the authority person.
Yeah, he's kind of like, well, who's really in charge here? Is Shane just gonna, so that was.
Also, I thought Shane McMahon lost his job. That was the other thing.
Exactly. Thank you. Oh, I'm just gonna show up and strut in the ring.
Noah Hesse. Shout out to Noah Hesse. He's a good dude.
What's up, Noah Hesse, saying The Miz is the best. See, I've heard a lot more people stand up for The Miz in the past couple of days, saying he deserves it. Our very own Robert D. Felice saying this guy has earned it. For everyone who hates his guts and doesn't like him and thinks that he's a jerk, remember, that's kind of the idea.
There's money in the chase, Kevin. Sometimes you need, and here's our thing. So we've talked about Kevin, like around WrestleMania time, Royal Rumble time, the casual fan comes back. Casual fans remember The Miz, and they remember hating The Miz. So I think this is a way to kind of, with the Peacock coming back, and also who has a show on USA Network, Miz and Mrs. So I think this is a way. This is something to do with NBC. I don't.
This all feels like a rub for those things.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for that.
Michael texting and saying Miz is a transitional champ. Yeah, he's taking on Lashley next week. Lashley feels like a monster. Is a legit monster. He is one of those legit guys who could just destroy people.
Yeah,
with his legitimate fighting background. And he wrecked, and they made him look strong. He kicked out of a power slam from Braun Strowman and speared him out of his boots. And this is Braun Strowman introducing himself as kind of like the guy who's I'm gonna stop you from having this, and I get beat. and then you just get beat. He's on another level. They didn't tap Braun out. Braun will do something at WrestleMania. I don't think it'll be in the main event.
Aren't they rumoring Shane and Braun or something?
I think they're working towards that, and that plays to the strengths of both guys. Braun is big, but he's the big, strong guy who comes in and flips a car and does these impressive feats, right?
Yeah. Car wreck match, basically.
I don't think anyone's flipped a car more than Braun.
Or a truck, it could be a money.
Or has been hit by a car. He's been hit by a car as well.
True too. Fuck.
So I don't know. They'll do something with him, and he'll.
And Shane will jump off the pirate ship. That's
no. Kevin Owens has got to jump off the pirate ship. Someone's jumping off the pirate ship at WrestleMania. I want to say this, Bob's J watching from Ghana, West Africa. We have people watching from Malaysia.
Big ups to Ghana, Africa.
Big ups to Africa. Thank you so much.
He's straight out of Ghana.
Thank you guys. I love all the international viewers. Thank you to people listening to the podcast, by the way, in Japan, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Singapore. If you guys listen to the podcast, by the way, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating on whatever app you're on. And if you're listening to the podcast and you've never interacted with us before, go ahead and hit us up at WrestleZone.com, because I know there's plenty of people that just listen to the audio and you hear these names if you listen to the podcast. These are people watching the live stream. Love these guys, but I want to hear from you guys as well. Also, remember that podcast contest we have as well. That's for you guys. The live stream podcast, everyone's in on it. You want to share the link and you can win a Road to WrestleMania activity and trivia book. Ooh. I don't have it with me today, but I will send you pictures.
Is there stickers in this book?
There is not stickers, but you can draw your own gear for Ricochet. You can color in gear for him. They have ad libs for the catchphrases. You can make your own catchphrases.
Ooh.
It's a very childish thing that when I was flipping through it, I was like, I'm buying 7 of these. I bought 7 of them, so I have many to give away.
If you can get an adult on board with an activities book, that's a good sign.
So is Lashley going to beat Miz for the title next week on TV? Is that another curveball WWE wants to throw here?
See, so, we were throwing around this word transitional champion. I mean, to me, if Miz can make it to Mania with the belt, to me, that makes him not a transitional champion. So my hope is that I want to go a little further with Miz. I don't want him to drop to Lashley right away. Maybe Lashley fights his way into a triple threat at Mania, but I don't want him to drop the belt next week. That's too soon. To me, we already did that with Orton, like in October when he had the belt for 2 weeks. I'm kind of sick of these like 2-week belt reigns. Like, make these wins count for something,
Noah asking, what is the podcast name? It's WrestleZone. It's just, you search WrestleZone. We have 4 episodes of WrestleZone wrap up. We literally have like 9 different hours of audio every single week on our podcast. You get
You're
tons
working
of different
hard. Kevin is a Swiss Army.
Dude, I'm not stop working hard. We had a great team of people here producing a whole bunch of stuff. Go check it out. I think Lashley winning the title next week is something to really shake things up. I can see them holding off on that for Fastlane, which is a pay-per-view event. That is that first event on Peacock to usher in this new relationship here. And maybe Miz gets to keep it until then. Maybe some shenanigans next week on TV. I think fans are a little bit more tolerant of some type of DQ finish on television, but the payoffs are on pay-per-view.
Did they say if there's a stipulation for this match?
No, this is straight up title match.
Straight up title. Okay.
But a rare world title match on TV. I will say that still feels like it's not something you do every week or every month. So it does definitely feels interesting here.
Got to keep it special.
Definitely some people chiming in here with their different takes on this. This comment: for now the championships need to change hands, but I'm thinking Drew still have lots of chances and need to move to SmackDown. Well, I don't see Drew moving to SmackDown. We had no Drew McIntyre, the man who just dropped the belt on Sunday night after holding it through a very arduous Elimination Chamber match, only to be vanquished by Bobby Lashley attacking him, who made a deal with Miz, who ran out and cashed in, and that played into Monday Night Raw. I think Drew shows up next week. If there is shenanigans next week with Miz and Bobby Lashley, we didn't see any Drew McIntyre this week. Maybe Drew is the guy who inserts his boot into someone's face next Monday night.
And he interrupts the title match or something.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening. And then I can see Drew getting some sort of, maybe is like his Mania. He'll get a match at Mania if he wins at Fastlane, or they could do some sort of match like that at Fastlane to kind of, build anticipation. I think it's good that they took Drew off TV for a week. Give him a week off. He's been fighting every week, doing something.
The guy went through hell. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. There was plenty of people I saw on TV last time. I was like, how are they even in there? They were just in this brutal.
He just got over COVID too. Like the guys,
that isn't easy. That isn't just like you
that's a medical elimination chamber, if you will.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Now you're getting scary here. Let's go a little bit outside of the ring. This story a little goofy. We've heard this story of The Rock talking about it. He put together an exploratory committee, which is you're putting money into just a committee looking into it about running for president. And I know it seems ridiculous. We've been laughing at our own political system in the United States for a couple of years. Celebrities becoming president. Obviously, number 45 did that. But recently, The Undertaker has gone on the record and has endorsed The Rock to run for president, saying he could be the uniter that people are looking for. Now, a lot of people online do not respond to this. Undertaker's gotten a lot of heat, specifically from people on the liberal left, which is fine, about his political stances, which are kind of understated. He wore a Blue Lives Matter t-shirt on his Last Ride documentary series, and a lot of people took that the wrong way. There's been some public reports about what campaign he donated to. At the same time, he's been a very charitable guy. Has given to a bunch of different charities that people would be surprised about that he gave money to. And he's a big proponent of the military and different things like that. Undertaker spoke with TMZ Sports and talked about The Rock's potential bringing the country together if he gave a serious consideration about running for president. The Rock has said himself it's something he's thought about before actually a fictional plot device, which is being used now in the Young Rock series that is runs Tuesday nights.
And where can you find the Young Rock on Peacock?
NBC, another tie in there, yeah.
Do you smell what the Peacock is cooking?
Again, someone's gonna say that. And they go, you know what? I'll tell you what about Rock. What a success story he is. He is not given to him. The man works his tail off. He dives wholeheartedly into everything that he does. If he gets a mindset that he wants to run at politics, you know what? I think he'll do it. And I know where he sits on a lot of policies, but I know when he has the will and the determination to do something, he usually does it. The Undertaker said if his friend could bring people together, it would be a success on that part alone. He's so charming. He's so witty. He is. The Rock is charming and witty. I think that's a general sentiment. I think he can be a uniter if people are looking for. I know that he has the charisma. Maybe all that it would take would be one eyebrow, just one eyebrow, and he gets he'd look at the left, he'd raise the eyebrow, look at the right, raise the eyebrow. That's all it takes. He would destroy the cable news.
Right and left eyebrows will
he would crush Fox News just with one eyebrow raise. He would just crush them. He would CNN, boom, just a little $1 million smile, and I got you. Undertaker saying it just takes charm. Got to work the cheap seats, brother.
He's not wrong. I mean, what was the last election? You have Trump running around dropping heel promos on everybody. Unfortunately, promo work, mic work is needed in the political landscape. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think we should be fully invested in policies, but look, we've had too many entertainers run for policy now or politics. So if Brock surrounds himself with a good cabinet, all bets are off.
Have you seen the Young Rock?
I have. I watched the first episode. You know what I think they could do? I know this is like turning into like beyond just wrestling, but
sure, we're in the wrestling sphere.
If it was like a show on FX or a cable show, you could have done like one season with one Rock in one era, one season with one Rock. I think for the pilot, it worked great to have like the conflicting or the different timelines, if you will.
Yeah, but it was a half an hour show, and they had Rock, I think, almost in like 2 different time periods, and then it was
3 different time periods plus the wraparound segment of him.
And the wraparound segment is like in the future, so he's telling a past that's already real. So in this fictional future, he's going even further back. So there's a lot of like different things they were jarring around.
There's a lot for a pilot, and I just wonder if they're going to be able to maintain that for the full season. But in terms of wrestling, they have the actors that look like all the wrestlers. They're the guy who looked like Rocky Johnson. They're the guy who look like Andre the Giant. So the commitment to the realism of the wrestling part, I think, is great. So and literally, you know what the pilot is called? It's called Working the Gimmick. Like it's literally all about wrestling lingo. So I think it's a good little family show. I hope people check it out. I enjoyed the pilot.
Bob Coaster says, I'm fine with smelling what the Prez is cooking. He's fine with it. He's on board with this. And it's weird because we bring up the Young Rock show. In the show, he's being interviewed while he's running for president in 2032 by Randall Park. Very underrated actor in his own.
Yeah, it's produced by the people who did Fresh on the Boat, which is why Randall Park.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show, by the way, too. So and the writing is good. It doesn't insult wrestling. It treats
wrestling. Not at all.
It treats wrestling as like a business and an art form, and it doesn't like insult it. It does reference it as this weird world that is outside of normal like entertainment life.
Right.
So I did think that was right. And the actors they have playing the legends, as you talked about, were really cool. Whoever they got to play Andre the Giant looks the part.
Really looks like Andre the Giant. Yeah.
I do know that Mark Henry read for the role of Junkyard Dog, but did not get it. But I don't mind that because I think if they went with modern wrestlers to play classic wrestlers completely across the board, it'd be a little bit more jarring. It's like, here's John Cena playing the Macho Man. It would just be like, it'd be like one of those bad bio pictures where they're like, hello, Freddie Mercury. I'm David Bowie. You look like you're under pressure. Oh, wow. That would be a great song. Like that type of stuff.
You need to be able to dissolve into the character, and I feel like Mark Henry, to Mark Henry's credit, he's just too recognizable. Herman
German Suplex to Car saying Young Rock is a good show. The Rock is my favorite actor. Thing is, The Rock's been in a bunch of hit movies, man. He's had a bunch of blockbusters. He's a good blockbuster actor. It takes a certain
he's box office gold. He brings people together. Literally.
Here's the thing: I don't see him running for president anytime soon.
Not in the next not in 20. 20.
No. It's funny they bring up 2032 because I think if he was going to do it, that would be around the time.
I love how he looks exactly the same in 2032.
Yeah, he has that DC movie he's been working on that's been in production for years that he's producing, the Black App. So that'll weave him into some other DC movies that they're going to want him to do. He has the Jungle Cruise movie, which is a Disney property.
Oh, yeah, that didn't come out either. I forgot.
Yeah, and then he has the Young Rock, which, I mean, mind you, he's really producing it, which is a lot of work in its own right, but it's not as time-consuming as actually going and filming the show. And the wraparounds, he could film all those in 3 days if they wanted to. you've been around some sets and stuff like that. Like those type of segments, they could film all that in 3 days. The more
They
expensive
probably
stuff,
filmed they probably filmed his wraparounds like in
a week. Could do the whole thing in a week if they really wanted to. So there's a lot of challenges here. And then it brings up this, well, if he's doing all of this other stuff, when are we going to get him in the ring again? When is The Rock going to wrestle? I don't want to know when he's going to run for president. I want to know when he's going to come back and kick his foul mouth cousin's mouth. When is he going to put the boot
the head of the table?
When is he going to go reach over and grab the oily hair of his nephew and slam it into a table and say, I'm the real tribal chief here? When is The Rock going to come back? I don't see it.
You want him to have his retirement match, if you will, because his last technical match was the Eric Rowan 1 minute thing. Do you count that?
Technically, and I understood what they were going for. That was at WrestleMania 32 or whatever, and they did that whole long segment to get him out in the ring and everything like that. Yeah. And that was just like barely a match. It was just an angle to get Rock on the show. And it was fine for what it was. It was
wanted to be there. He clearly he had movie insurance shit that he couldn't show up.
But that's another major thing is you have to have this real gap between movies for him just to be able to do a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
But I bring up this, he's now a producer. He's now in this other tier. He's in this other level, but that could still, affect the insurance of a movie. He got injured doing some wrestling prior to films in 2012 and 13.
Wasn't his last Cena Mania 29. Yeah, he got injured on that one, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of all over the place here. I don't see The Rock returning to WWE this year. I think this year's WrestleMania is all really the number one thing in this year's WrestleMania is not any match in the ring. It's fans in the seats.
That's the main event, really.
Yes, the main event for me is fans in the seats. Man, it is the absolute best here.
And to that point, I think maybe it is exciting that there aren't going to be too many big legends. Like, why not make it about the new superstars this year? We don't need. Hopefully, Taker is retired and not coming back.
Undertaker will film something for it. I don't think he'll have a match. He'll have some role. He'll have some cameo on that.
I think he needs to relax in his gun range and Blue Lives Matter.
No, I could see cameos and different things like that. I don't mind that at all. And it's WrestleMania. You can constantly compare it to ones of the past. I don't mind that. While we're on the topic of Rock, him returning, what could he do? The match with Reigns is the match people want to see. It's the one that writes itself.
Reigns retires The Rock.
Yeah, uncle versus nephew. There's something there. Come on, it writes itself.
You could have the Anoa'i family surround the ring or something.
Oh, totally. And the winner gets the winner gets the winner gets the roses. The winner gets the actual tribal chief beads.
I want to call it a luau, but the better.
No, he also got beads too. So the ceremony when he won that and the Wild Samoans came out and put it on him and say
that was the hell in the
wonderful.
Cell,
you do that with The Rock too. Come on, come on, let's do it. Right.
That's the other thing, Kevin, is do you bring Rock in for one and done and he retires, or do you have him win? Like, do you do the Goldberg thing if he has to win one?
Question.
And
Mr. James Espanto, who's always texting in the show, says fantasy booking here. Who would retire The Rock? I think that would have to be the thing. Is if Rock comes back and says, Roman, I heard what you were saying. You're saying these things about the people. You're saying these things about the family. You can't say that. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick your ass. And Roman says, listen, you're coming back to my world. This isn't yours anymore.
Yeah, you've been gone.
If you're going to do this, we're going to do this on my terms. I'm sick of you floating over my head. You get this match with me. I beat you. You're done. That's it. No more. You like that type of thing. And the thing is, Rock doesn't need to win the match. They just need to have the match.
They just have it once. Yeah.
What echelon of evil would Roman be in? You thought he was bad enough, the stuff he did at the Chamber on Sunday, coming out and beating a nearly defenseless Daniel Bryan after he just crawled.
And that was the good thing where they were like, oh, we're going to bring it back. You had them go first because you thought it was going to be later in the show. No, they did it right then and there. That was some heel tactics.
Because he's evil.
Yeah.
The thing you got to remember, guys, is Roman is evil, except he doesn't think he's evil. He thinks he's doing the right thing. That's how lost this character is. And that's why I love it. The best villains are Darth Vader villains, where they are so gone in hubris and ego, and they've now fronted all of their evil with ethics. Like when he says, "This is disrespectful to you," like this is disrespectful to my family. I'm the head of my family. I represent my family. So if you insult me, you insult my family. like he is everything of his ethos is go back to that Chris Farley SNL sketch when they sir, do you know you're drinking decaffeinated coffee? Chris, excuse me.
That is a good where he just goes and he's like, God is my witness.
Yes, you son of a bitch. You lied to me.
I'm loving the quiet. I mean, people can say what they want. The quiet intensity of Roman's promos now. He's doing some of his best mic work right now.
I don't think anyone is more over on the road to WrestleMania right now than he is. And like everyone can complain, oh, they went through this Elimination Chamber match. It was pointless, and this person just got defeated by Roman. That's the idea. If someone went to the mountaintop and he just climbed up the other side of the mountain and went, no, and pushed him off because he's evil. Like everyone wanted WrestleMania on Sunday. It's not WrestleMania yet. Like this we want to get to Return of the Jedi. We got Empire Strikes Back.
That was Empire Strikes Back, yeah. Although he did get redemption. I mean, Edge came. I was not thinking Edge was going to make a decision right then and there. I thought they were going to wait till SmackDown. So
let's talk about that. Edge versus Roman Reigns. This is official now. We're about two days removed from this. It is official for WrestleMania 37. And
I remember predicting this after on the Royal Rumble post show. I remember I'm like, they're going to do Edge Roman, spear versus spear. It's meant to.
I like that they took their time with this and teased Edge across all three brands, including NXT.
Yes.
And teased the idea that he could go anywhere and he wants to do some big things. I know Edge is set. I want to do stuff with people I haven't wrestled with before. And everyone says, oh, Roman doesn't need the match with Edge. He doesn't need the match with that, like, upper generation superstar that Edge is. The other way around is I think Edge needs the match with Roman more the other way around because Roman is so red hot right now, as we've already set up here. He's so evil. I think the story is more palpable with Edge versus Reigns, where Edge has to prove this to himself. He has to win back a title he never actually lost. He has to win back that gravity of greatness that was just taken from him by injuries, right? Whereas Reigns has these things as a sense of entitlement, his birthright. I was born into this. This is mine. And I don't have to be the Roman of old. I have to be this guy right now. And you have to get out of my way because you're disrespecting me with your presence. And like that. Like
you got Heyman on the side too.
And the promos have already been really, really good. The promos have been
good, and it's gonna heat up now. I'm really excited for the promos, and you have this thing of like, it's Edge is gonna come in and vanquish this evil that has been lingering for a while.
Mike Kirschbaum has a great question. Is Christian done wrestling? We saw Edge and Christian, longtime tag team partners, intertwined, truly brothers in life. Great best friends. Edge returned from this neck injury he was never supposed to come back from. Definitely. And Christian was put on the shelf with a series of nasty concussions 6 years ago, though he maintained a role with WWE on camera and various different projects, but was out of the ring. Saw him come back at the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen him back in the ring since. Could Edge be inserted? Could Christian be inserted as a supporting player in the same way that Jey Uso, the entire family around Roman, is just backing him up like Samoan Mafia? I could see Edge calling on Christian to be his backup on the road to WrestleMania. I'm hoping they get to tag team, as that would be a really, really fun match to do on pay-per-view. That'd be a perfect match to do on Fastlane.
I was gonna say you need some. You can't just be like, oh, Fastlane's a burner pay-per-view.
Or SmackDown. If you want to do that match on TV, that'd be a really great TV match to tune into on a Friday night on Fox.
I think yeah, they are on Fox right now. Look, they need viewers and they need draws. So, but I think Fastlane being it's the first pay-per-view on Peacock, I think they need something exciting. I think we need Edge and Christian because they haven't teamed up since the return. All they've done is just Royal Rumble, whatever, the little team up there, but they need a full tag match. And I think Fastlane's a place to do it. Give us a little preview and if you want to keep Roman and Uso away, you could have them team up, just go for the tag titles or something, just go against Street Profits or something. You could have them face anybody, but I think people just want to see Edge and Christian again. It was the exciting thing about the Rumble, was having all these kind of past players come back while Edge was on his path to victory that night. So I think we need to see it for sure.
Absolutely. Want to remind you guys, we're dropping even more content on the podcast feed every Thursday. Episodes of WCW Rewritten, our fantasy booking show, picking up WCW as you may have remembered it, but maybe the D'Angelo brothers want you to remember it a different way. Pretty adventurous idea. We're dropping those every Thursday. We also have dropping this periodic episodes. We're dropping of a new series to highlight independent pro wrestlers called Meet the Wrestler. We just dropped one now for John Schuyler. You can check out that episode or read it at WrestleZone.com. Also want to get into something else going on with WWE. I know they're dominating the show here today. They've launched a new series of biography collection with A&E, which will start on April 18th on the A&E network. We've heard these stories quite a bit, but they're doing one on Macho Man, The Ultimate Warrior, Roddy Piper, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Mick Foley. We've heard a lot of these stories if you're a longtime wrestling fan, but this is really for the casual wrestling fan that comes in and out of wrestling, right?
How long are these episodes going to be?
I think they're about an hour. Okay. So I think from
45 minutes with commercials, then probably.
Yeah, so 45 minutes with commercials. But I don't mind these, even though some of these are stories I haven't heard before. I don't mind these. These can be pretty interesting here. But the thing is, the producers they have on these are actually pretty darn good. They're bringing in people that have worked on The Last Dance, that worked on the Andre the Giant documentary, like Jason Herrer, who worked for that for HBO. We have Joe Levine, who worked on the ESPN 30 for 30 series. He's handling the Roddy Piper episode. Bill Corbin and Alfred Spellman, who handled Cocaine Cowboys and Screwball, which are two of the best sports documentaries the last few years. They're going to be involved with it as well. George Roy, who did Curse of the Bambino. So he's handling Booker T. So they have some really hot hands coming in on this project. I don't mind that, because then they can get kind of like a different perspective that maybe WWE wouldn't touch on, but you're getting WWE voices on this. Vince McMahon's going to contribute to it.
You don't want the Vince McMahon fingerprints on everything. You want it to be from the outside too. No, that Andre the Giant documentary was absolutely
incredible. Incredible. And it was smart that WWE worked with Bill Simmons on that, and they produced that for HBO. If you guys haven't seen that, it'll be a lot of stories you haven't heard before. There'll be some stories where, brother, or, they're putting their own style on it. Hulk Hogan tells some things. It's like, is this true? Did you actually think you were going to get in the ring at a 93,000 person show and Andre wasn't going to do the planned finish? Like, are you serious? So there's plenty of that stuff. But they have some really great people working on these projects, which is, I think, pretty entertaining.
I had heard that the Last Dance people were going to be all involved in Stone Cold. I thought they were going to do when I first heard Last Dance and Stone Cold, I thought they were going to do like a 10-part on the Attitude Era, like a Last Dance style thing on the Attitude Era. But this is still, this will be great too. Touch on all of the kind of icons that they're doing right now. Speaking of icons, I did like the Yokozuna documentary. I don't know if you got to see that.
I've yet to see it. See it. That's on the network. Another part of this rollout of new shows with A&E, I wonder what the turnover is for them putting it on behind on their own streaming service, Peacock Network, whatever.
Yeah, I'm wondering. A&E is definitely a Universal property, so it is gonna. I would assume.
Yeah, so you'll likely get it on Peacock here.
Yeah, I'll just
another part of this is
everything on there. Well, now here's a question: are we going to get Raw the next day on Peacock, or is that still going to be something that because
I've heard that may be a big reason fans may wait to see what this is. I don't know if you'll get next day because they still have deals with Hulu that are maintaining.
That's true too, yeah.
And that is the next day streaming home for television. And I know a lot of people that that's how they watch Raw because they don't want to watch a 3-hour Raw. They'll watch a 90-minute version of Raw.
Yeah, it's not even the full Raw. It's like a shortened kind of.
It's 90 minutes. It's like half the show. So it's just like the main storyline of the show and maybe 2 or 3 other matches.
2 or 3 matches, yeah.
It's pretty damn good. But now covering it every Monday, I have to watch the whole thing with commercials and stuff like that too. So I don't mind it as much. Another part of WWE's partnership with A&E is a new series that isn't just that documentary biography. A&E's had biographies for like 20, 30 years, right? They've been doing those. Is another series they're doing called Most Wanted Treasures. And this is the journey to find WWE's most iconic lost memorabilia.
Oh.
I like this idea. Stephanie McMahon, Triple H are going to be the hosts of this, and they go out, lead a team of collectors to kind of investigate and find these different things. I'm about to burp.
That'll be interesting, and that's gonna be on A&E, right? Because
it's gonna be on A&E, so
feels
that's gonna
more
be
like a History Channel show, but like, yeah, I kind of like it. This
like a History Channel show with a wrestling spin. A lot of different people are going to be featured on that show. Undertaker going to be on it. Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair, Mick Foley, Kane, Big Show, Mark Henry, Jerry the King Lawler, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Jake the Snake Roberts, Sergeant Slaughter. The series will unearth these rare items in hopes of preserving and sharing the legacy.
Can we find the casket that Shawn broke his back on?
It's cool. I want to see that. Like, oh, Shawn Michaels, you cracked your vertebrae on this in 1996. What do you think?
On YouTube, like, I guess they did like one of those like WWE warehouse contests, and like a fan like has home video footage of in the warehouse. So look up if you go on YouTube and you type in WWE warehouse, somebody there, you'll see like home footage of the warehouse, and that warehouse is insane. There's like a dude who like works in it, and like just that's his job. It's just
and they've filmed some bits in there before, things here and there. I know when Joey was with I'm forgetting his last name, Joey of ECW fame. I'm blanking. He was
Joey Styles. Yeah, he did.
Styles. Thank you so much. I know so many people are screaming. I was one of those things where you start a sentence and you forget part of a name.
Yeah.
He did some stuff talking with the historians that talked about all these different things and how they have all those caskets. They're in storage. They have them. It exists.
SmackDown Fist. I found that hilarious.
Yes, and I was like, that is so cool. Like that should be a tour. But yeah, when you think all these things, you're like, man, WWE needs a museum. The Hall of Fame should be a museum.
When is that? Is it? Somebody said that COVID, like they were going to start something, but COVID stopped it. But they need it for sure.
I've heard several different times from different people that have talked to the company that at some point in the mid 2000s, they did buy a piece of real estate in Florida before they were actually training anybody there. There was a theorized idea and a lot of work put into, but it got stalled for whatever reason, to build a physical Hall of Fame and museum.
Yeah.
And make it an attraction in the general area of Orlando, if not Florida, where you already have a lot of tourism dollars coming in. Yeah. Tax revenue wise, it's the place to build it because you can make more money off outside money coming in. So it would have been the best idea here. So we're what, 47 days, 46 days away from WrestleMania. What are some other things on WrestleMania you think that need to be there that aren't there yet but could be there? Give me your WrestleMania missing match right now.
I mean, I'm worried about Keith Lee. I would love to see a big match with Keith Lee. I mean, I know Riddle just got the title on Sunday. Maybe you do Keith Lee and Riddle at Mania, because Keith Lee hasn't had a big match on the main roster. I'm very saddened by his sort of main roster run right now. We need something for Keith Lee. I know
he came out of the gates, man. He left NXT as their champion, vacated the title, didn't lose it. All right, came in, beat Randy Orton.
Cross. I think he vacated the North American title, and then he lost to Karrion Kross
to Karrion Kross. But yes, vacated the North American title. Thank you for the correction. But came in, beat Randy Orton, had all this momentum. He got scratched from the Elimination Chamber on Sunday. Everyone says, "Oh, they removed him, and Vince wants to bury him." No, he got hurt.
He got hurt. Legitimately, I just hope it's not Mania.
Gonna keep him off the show. But we saw this. You and I were talking before the show. We talked about how Samoa Joe should have been this way bigger thing on the main roster, but he's had poorly timed injuries and different things like that have prevented that from happening.
Sometimes the injury gods prevent booking sometimes, but I will say Samoa Joe at least got that Mania win over Rey Mysterio at 35. That was really cool. It was a 1-minute match, so he got one little match at Mania. So good for Joe. I hope he comes back soon. But yeah, I'd like to see Keith Lee in something. I thought after Rumble, because if you remember in the Rumble, Seth Rollins eliminated Bryan. So I was thinking we were going to start some sort of program with like Bryan Rollins. So I'm thinking that's probably going to happen. So I'm hoping
we'll find out this week on SmackDown. I think we're recording here for you guys getting the podcast. We're on a Tuesday here. I think there's some hot hands. Yeah. SmackDown's going to put together some big WrestleMania match this Friday.
Yeah.
And we already know we're getting Edge and Reigns. And they have a way hotter hand top to bottom than Raw does now in terms of characters that are connecting and are over and people want to see something with them. Cesaro is a big example. Daniel Bryan could have won that world title on Sunday, and I don't think fans would have complained. They would have been really, really happy.
No one would have complained. It would have been perfect. Although I do think that as much as Bryan won that chamber, I still think people were kind of gunning for Cesaro to at least get.
Yeah. But I mean, like, though, I'm just bringing up two names. They're hot there. Rollins is back in the picture, and he's certainly jaw-jacking back and forth with Cesaro. I think Cesaro and Rollins could be a great match on WrestleMania, just like Rollins had a fantastic match last year with Kevin Owens.
That was a great match, yeah.
And also Kevin Owens, what is he doing? What's the direction with him in WrestleMania? So over on SmackDown, I'm really intrigued. You have 4 or 5 guys there that don't have anything going on that are over. Yeah. I mean, they are over. They have a lot. They have momentum. Even though Daniel Bryan didn't win that world title, he even got choked out. He still felt like a compelling character. Cesaro did. And Owens for months was chasing the world title. I don't think cool them off. What's the direction for that crop of guys on SmackDown? Some mixture of them are going to be involved in some matches for sure. And also remember, WrestleMania is 2 nights, so there's a lot more space for guys like that on this year's card.
I mean, I guess, and I wonder what they're gonna like. I'm assuming they may not be able to do any sort of like big battle royal or something. So then you have to be specific.
No, I think they could do a battle royal. If they can do a Royal Rumble, they can do a battle royal.
maybe 15 people or something,
Yeah, I think
even in the Rumble, they didn't have like 20 people in there once. They kept it spaced out.
Yeah, the testing protocols are through the roof with them. I think they're spending like the number I heard the first week they started doing tests. In the first few weeks they started doing it was like they did like 2,500 tests for a couple hundred people. So that meant you were testing some people many times. and for the people in NXT that are training now, they're getting tested at least once a week, minimum. Once a week. So I would say don't worry about it too much. I'm okay with that. I just hope everyone at WrestleMania is safe. That's what I'm hoping.
Everybody stays safe. I'd love to see a good ladder match either for the IC title or the no, actually Big E has the IC title, so he should be in a singles. He needs a singles match this year. So
he needs his highlight.
He needs high life. So then the U.S. title, you could do something with that. Riddle. I guess Riddle has the U.S. title right now, so you can do.
And Riddle would be fine, and Riddle losing it would be fine. It's okay. Like that guy has time to grow still. Time to grow, bro.
They were talking something about like doing a fight pit, like they were doing the NXT fight pit, but bring it to Mania, maybe perhaps or something.
Who knows? Like that. I don't mind throwing some fun gimmicks there in that are outside of the main event to spruce it up. You're gonna have 2 4-hour-long shows. Like do something fun with them.
Exactly.
I don't mind it.
Wrestling, you gotta have one or two stipulations.
Yeah, definitely. Teak, if they want to check out the album, where can they get it?
So you can go to prateekcomedy.com. That's PRATEEK comedy.com. It's called Nick and Sheila's Kid. It's on my website, but you can get it on any of the major platforms, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music, vinyl, whatever. It's Nick and Sheila's Kid. And then also, we're doing a show this Friday. It's a virtual show. It's called Understandably Undeclared. I'm producing it with a very talented comedian named Jessica Mizra. Basically, every comic on that show hasn't used their college degree, and so we joke about how, like, hey, we have jobs now without a college degree. So it's called Understandably Undeclared. At Prateek Comedy, and on Instagram, I'll have like the little flyer on it for you, and you can find on I'll have information about it on my website too. But it's called Understandably Undeclared, and it's 8 p.m. Central on Zoom. We'll have the link and all there, all that stuff too. But
can they catch it on demand after you stream live? Because I know a lot of people, they hear about these live streams or different things like that, just like with my show, and maybe they don't get to watch it live.
Yeah, we put it on. You have to go on my Facebook page. We will stream even the PPE shows that I do, Pandemic Pop-Up Comedy or Pandemic Pop-Up Entertainment.
I had a fun time doing one. I had a really great time doing one.
Even my 34 for 34 shirt is still saved on my fan page, but for that you have to go to @Prateek Comedy on Facebook. But you'll have all those Zoom shows are saved. I keep them on there. They're a lot of fun.
I want to thank you guys for checking out the show. Past couple of days, a lot more people have been seeing the show for the first time. So we're looking at the backstage analytics and people checking out the show, especially, coming off a big pay-per-view. There's a bunch of casual fans that will hop on. The thousands of you that checked out our post show for Elimination Chamber, the couple thousand of you that checked out our show on various different platforms for everything. Thank you guys so much. I know a lot of people see this front show facing. I see all those names. I know the James Espontos, the Michaels, the Sean Smiths, the people that are with us that spend hours and hours with the show every day. You WrestleZonians, you matter. I really love you. I care about you. and let's bring some more people into the fold. Bring them on the old virtual couch, the old floating virtual couch that we're all sitting on together. Let's get back to the good times. All right. I will be back on the road doing some socially distant live comedy shows as well. March 19th, 2 shows in Valparaiso, Indiana, the capital of live entertainment in the Midwest. I will be at the Market Lounge. Really great people. Thank you to the Webster over there for helping me out as well. Definitely go get your tickets if you can look it up. Look up Market Lounge Valparaiso on Google. I'll be there March 19th. March 12th, I'll be performing at Madame Zuzu's in Deerfield, Illinois, in the North Burbs. So that'll be happening up as well.
Hells yeah. That's a good venue.
Billy Corgan, owner of the NWA. That is his coffee shop. So maybe he'll be in there and
bring his kid in, and his kid will cry during the show.
Yeah. His kid, Billy Corgan's going to come out and smash a guitar over my head if he doesn't think I'm funny.
There you go.
Yeah, so definitely come and check it out. If you know anyone, let them know about it. That's another thing. You're like, I don't know about it. Hey, this guy's funny. I watch his podcast. I watch his show on WrestleZone. And spread the word and go check out Teak. Don't be afraid. Oh, I'm not a comedian. I don't know. Don't worry about it. This isn't like an open mic. These are shows. We won't
pick on anybody. This is I truly believe there should be more crossover between comedy and wrestling.
Totally, dude. Totally.
We're just dropping some promos. That's all we're doing.
Comedy wrestling festival, please. Let's book this thing. The Slam Jam. Let's book the Comedy Slam Jam, dude. Let's make it happen. All right.
Slam Laugh Jam. If there's a way to
funny money. It's gonna be funny money in the bank. This is gonna be. All right. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you're all well. Stay safe. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing, Teak. I know we get analytical. Why aren't they booking my fantasy booking? Why haven't I know for you, why have they not made me the manager of Prateek's pack? I want my whole pack.
I want my stable to do well. God. Why is Aleister Black in the main event?
Exactly. All right.
He was thrown off the headquarters. What happened to him?
He's thrown off a lot more than the headquarters, buddy. He got thrown off a lot more than the headquarters. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching the show, listening out there. I really appreciate you. Stay safe. Remember, when watching wrestling, enjoy wrestling.